Worry on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny, sunny, sunny side of the street. Hi, welcome to another Sunny Side of the Street. I'm your host, Todd Gross, a clinical psychologist and director of Adams Street Associates in Newton. And our show likes to look at the side of human nature and of people in general that doesn't usually get much sway in the news. The side of people who help other people, try to make a difference in people's lives, and thereby also help themselves by their giving. We've done many different shows on many different topics. And I think one of the most important principles is that it seems to come across in all the shows is that we are all in this together, this experiment of life. And so when we have people that really can try to understand and help other people that are in need, that is one of the best things we do as human beings, and it deserves the focus that we do on the show. And today's no exception to that. In the current administration, which is so hostile to people trying to come into the country, or some people that have already come from other countries to our country, there need to be people that welcome these people, that help them get into the country in the first place. And also, we need to realize that the myths about who these people are, that they're not terrorists and they are not people who are criminals that are coming here. These are people that are escaping terrorism and trying to do just like we do, build their lives with their families. So they are going to need legal help in getting here, and they're also going to need tons of medical, social, educational resources when they come. So we have two people that I'm going to introduce you to now that really help in our area, people who are in these situations, immigrants and refugees. So first on my left, I have Elizabeth Goss, an attorney, and I'm very, very glad to have you come here and help us talk about this.
Thank you.
Good to have you. And then we have, I'm going to try this last name, folks. Rand is her first name, so I'm going to be calling her Rand. You'll see why, because her full name is Chagmagchee. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Well, it's wonderful to have you, Rand, and thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So maybe for our viewers, as a way of starting, to learn a little bit about both of the people that are here, I'll start with Liz and ask you a little bit how you got involved in the field of working with immigration law.
Yeah, it was a little bit of luck, but I'm a third-generation Syrian American. My grandparents came through Ellis Island, so the story of coming to America and making better has always sort of been ingrained in conversations at our kitchen table all the way through my development. And I just like you said, it's a little bit of you want to help people, and it gives you some good positive feedback. So that's always been also in my DNA.
Yes.
And I was really lucky, and I had great mentors early in my career, and I ended up falling into immigration at a time in the early 90s when it was really in a less developed stage, so it didn't so much matter, your pedigree.
Yes.
You didn't have to have an Ivy League degree to get into the field and to sort of make a name for yourself. So, I love working with people, and that short-term gain of being able to accomplish something for someone in a relatively short time, especially in the field of law where litigation may take years.
Yes.
Years and years and years, you can actually get things done for people in a shorter period of time. So
that's a really good point. So you could see tangible results for your work. A lot of times we do things, as a psychologist, it takes a long time for me to see results with people too. So I can see the point you're making. And for you, Rand, can you say a little bit about how you came to come to here, to America, and a little bit about what drew you to the work with families here too?
I came here as a student. I started thinking about I was trying to be a refugee. I applied and I didn't get it, so I came here.
This is from Syria, right?
This is from Jordan.
From Jordan, okay.
So I applied for a student visa, and I came as a student, and I thought this is a good way to start my life
Yes.
by start learning English and then apply for a master. So I get here as a student, and then I start my asylum case here. It's a longer process. It took me around 4 years to get approved. That took me 4 years that I'm not seeing my family, so I struggled a lot with having no community here. I don't know what should I do, where should I go?
Yes.
With the help of a few people around. So I feel as a refugees or as asylum seeker, I felt about what they're feeling as refugees when they first arrived.
Yes.
So this was like the thing that pushed me the most, and that I really want to help because I didn't get help. So I really want to help.
Yes. Boy, that's very moving, and it explains why you would be so empathic to the families that you're working with, understanding the challenges, and also how important support is for those people during this process. 4 years, also a long time.
It's a very long time. The system here, and maybe you can talk more about it. The system here is broken. They don't do things. It's like we do everything legally. We applied. We get a work authorization. We work. We pay taxes. We do our best, but things here is not going that fast. Even people who is applying on refugees camp in Syria or Jordan or Iraq, it's also going to take them around 3-4 years to get their security background check and this stuff. So it's a longer process.
Important for people to hear this. We're going to take
people think is everyone can come to United States. No, that's not true. It's really hard to get here.
Yes, and not because the people are really dangerous and they need 4 years worth of vetting, right?
Yeah, because you need to start from scratch. You need to learn the language. You need to know the system here.
Yes.
There's a new culture here, and they are coming from a different background. So it's a lot going on, and they have to start from zero. And like a father who is age around 40 or 45, it's kind of really difficult for him to start learning everything, and he doesn't know what to do and from where to start.
I think one of the things you're pointing out that's so important for our viewers to know about is basically how much courage it takes to come and start a new life in a place. And imagine what we would feel if it was reversed.
Of course.
Well, all right. Well, let me ask you, Liz, a little bit, and also Rand afterwards, each of you to talk a little bit about some of the clients and families you work with and some of the things that go on that you're trying to do, each from your own particular vantage point. Maybe I'll start with you, Liz.
Yeah, so I think, Rand pointed out the fact that most of the people we're talking about are already here in some sort of other capacity. They were able to get their way here, either through a student visa or something else.
Yes.
So we're looking for options, and we have people who apply for asylum, but we're also looking for other options for people. It could be through a family relationship or employment. So we look for all the mechanisms available for people here, and I'm not the refugee system itself. I'm just thinking about the system itself and the fact that you say it's broken. It is broken because we're still stuck in the early 90s. So we haven't really updated our system, and the one thing that I don't think people realize is that the quota system we're talking about a very low number of people we allow in legally every year. You keep hearing that a million people being let in a year, and it's not exactly true.
No.
We have an unlimited number of people who are allowed in who are spouses of U.S. citizens, parents of U.S. citizens, and children under 21 of U.S. citizens. But beyond that, it's very limited. We only let in about 140,000 employment-based immigrants a year, and that includes family members. So if you figure 2 applicants per family, that's less than 70,000 green cards given out a year for people who come in under the employment-based system. A little bit more in the family-based system, but it's 236,000. So we're not talking about huge numbers. And I think that's one of the myths about our system, is that we're still working under the rubric that was created a very long time ago, and there's been no accounting for the development of the country, development of political circumstances. But it's really hard because immigration is a political football. So you can speak fact and reason, but it is something that brings up a visceral reaction in a lot of people.
Yes.
So I also think the work that Rand does and other people do in the community to bring voice to those people and to pull up the veil a little bit behind the people who are here and what they're doing, and the fact that they do have to have tenacity and grit to survive here. or the will just to come and start is very important for people to understand.
Right. Can you say, just to take that a little further, some of the kind of specific things you have to do as an attorney to try to help families so that people get a feeling of, if they do contact an attorney, some of the questions that come up?
So first of all is trust, because I have to get them to be able to
Good
trust
point.
me, to
Yes.
tell me everything.
Yes.
And I don't want them to leave anything out. I don't want them to be embarrassed. I want them to be comfortable in front of me.
Yes.
And I think that's, that's very difficult with people. The other thing is to, I think, show some empathy. I think that's where I struggle the most. A lot of times I hear some gut-wrenching stories and circumstances, and there might be nothing I can do for that person legally, under the system. There might be, some small options available, long-term options available. I might be able to give them a little bit of advice and put them in the right direction to at least keep them from harm's way, from people taking advantage of them.
Right.
Through the system. That unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, because there aren't many mechanisms to help people who do take advantage of folks, and will promise them the sun, moon, and stars, charge them a lot of money.
Yes.
And
really
get them into. We have a lot of people who sometimes get put into an asylum process who maybe shouldn't have been put into an asylum process, and they don't understand the language. They're not getting help. They sign a document that is probably maybe not accurate, and they end up in more trouble than to start with. So a lot of the things that we do for this community some of it is prevention. So we do a lot of talks with large groups of people to try to give them more power and educate them.
Yes.
And then on an individual basis, we'll have them in. We might be talking to somebody to see what options are available. I work with mostly with companies in legal immigration, but my team, I have 3 attorneys that work with me. My team each have a pro bono case on their plate at a time.
I see.
And they do one at a time. When one closes, they pick up another. And recently, with the need increasing, we've started to talk about doing some low bono opportunities for people, and I think that's good. It's great, because A, it helps us cover our administrative costs, but B, it also gives, I think, and more importantly, it also gives the individual who is coming to us, if they are working,
more trust. I always hear this from the families. If we pay, they're gonna treat us better. They're gonna take care of my case. So the families,
and it gives them a sense of dignity.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think these kind of partnerships can work.
Yes.
Definitely.
Positively.
I'm doing referrals. So I have a question for you, because you mentioned that some attorneys taking advantage. How we can recognize those attorneys and what we should do about it?
Well, I mean, a lot of it's not necessarily just attorneys. So, for example, in some communities, there's something called a notario, and maybe in another country, somebody who is a notario may have a little bit. They're not an attorney, but they're not, here a notary doesn't mean anything. I can go sign a book in the McCormick building in Boston and become a notary.
Yes.
It just means I can certify a signature. But in other cultures and other countries, they have a little bit more credibility within the community. So here they hold themselves out as something they're not. And then they, because sometimes it's because they speak the language, they're known in the community, so they have, some sort of credibility, and then they can, it's unfortunate, but because of that foothold within the community, and they can get potentially someone a work permit quickly, and it's not until 4 or 5 years later, when the person realizes they're in trouble, that they're able to sort of build from their reputation. So how do you recognize that? It's hard. I think a lot of these people, if there is some research to be done online, people should be looking up their attorneys, because a lot of this stuff will show up.
That's where your
in the public
preventive
domain.
education comes in
I
also.
think also knowing that, for example, the American Immigration Lawyers Association is a national association. It's a very strong chapter here. There's amazing attorneys. And if somebody is a member of that organization, that would be one thing I'd be looking for, to make sure that they're getting credible, reputable attorneys. If somebody's not a member of that organization, I would think twice. It's not a definitive red line, but it would be something that would raise definitely a red flag for me. And then the organizations, and if even for attorneys like me, if I can't take somebody on, what I can usually do is say, here are the 3 things I suggest. So if they're getting a referral from a known source, either a community organization like Catholic Charities or the Irish International organization or class in Cambridge or the PAIR Project. So there's many organizations that can give them credible referrals if they aren't able to assist.
Each one sending me to the other one. That's
Yes,
the
let
thing.
me ask something too. Liz, you
Yeah.
talked about, which I thought was really important also, the trust and empathy that you need to build with these clients so that they will then tell you all that you need to know and feel safe enough to do that. And I know that's also important in your work. So I'm wondering if you can add to your piece of what you do with the people that you're working with, and also for our audience that may not understand it, just to differentiate between immigrants and refugees and what their different needs could be too, how they might be able to tell that apart, if there are differences.
I mean, building a trust, I think you would definitely know as a psychologist.
Absolutely.
It's really hard. That is not going to be from day one or day two. It's a matter of time. It's a process of. It's same like when you are meeting a friend for the first time. It's a little by little. So because I'm working with them for a long time, and that's sometimes over a year, so they start know me. They see me available for them all the time.
Yes.
My phone is all the time is open for them. So we build this relationship, which is personally, and the time I'm taking them to the doctor or lawyer, they don't. I feel it. They don't have the same trust for that lawyer or that doctor.
Right.
So here is my struggle to build to keep educate them how to trust the doctor or the psychologist or the social worker.
And you're present and with them, and you deliver on what you say. You show up when they need you and when they ask for you. So that builds the trust, and then you can use that to try to help them trust the professionals that they have to deal with.
Sure. And sometimes, maybe the language barriers, the cultural barriers, this is all the stuff that take them away from the community here.
Sure.
All the discrimination that's going on.
Yes.
All the news and the new administration.
Yes.
That's make them also go step back because they feel, they don't want us here.
Yes.
So they feel, I have women just because they wearing covered or hijab, she feels discrimination in the emergency room.
Yes.
Or does she feel discrimination when she go to the daycare?
Yes.
And this is around Boston, unfortunately, which is a blue state. So I don't know what's going on in the other
in the red
places.
states, watch out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's serious. It really is. You're right. But you do everything you can, even with language and support, to try to make them feel comfortable, help them feel like there are people that care here, and not everybody is discriminating.
Of course. There are many helpful groups, supportive groups. They're helping my families with everything. Even they start being a family for them.
Can you say a few about something about those groups that you're talking about, so people will know? They may hear names they know of.
In fact, I work in many organizations, and I am
Yes.
part of many groups around. But I would mention I am volunteer in refugee support group of Watertown. They're an amazing group, and they're taking care of many families. They don't really choose only one family.
Yes.
They're doing a great job. They support me all the time. Another group from Bethel, Temple Bethel in Belmont. They have a huge volunteer group, and they've assigned 3-4 people for each family. So they also put more attention for each family, just starting from education, medicals, and assign each person for a different.
Yeah.
You can do education or medical or transportation. So we are working on all the aspect of how to make those families here self-sufficient and work hard.
Yes.
It's not like what the people thinking they are coming here to use the welfare system. No. They use even the welfare. They're not gonna let them or accept to give them money or a SNAP without even send them to work or send them to have some training or ESL.
They want jobs. They want education. They
and
want
they, and
for
they
their
have
kids
to. And they have to. This is going to help them mentally.
You bet.
It's better for them than sitting home. So they are here to start their life from the beginning.
Yes.
They are not here to receive the benefit. They are work really hard. They are hard people. They are hard worker.
That's so important for people to hear, when people might try to exploit or discriminate these people by presenting them as takers, when they are very much also contributors, and they have the same desires to really make a life for themselves. That's what I hear in your work so much.
Yeah, they work hard. Most of my family is having 2-3 jobs.
Yes.
Just to offer to pay their rent at the end of the month. They work really hard. Sometimes the wife is not seeing the husband.
Yes.
And the wife is also working and taking care of the kids. So it's not like what the ideas of what they're thinking about what is refugee.
I appreciate the reality that you're providing. And let me ask both of you a question, because I think the work you're doing is so helpful and so important. What for you are the most rewarding aspects of the kinds of work you're doing? And do you have any stories or examples of things that really bring out why you love being able to do what you do? Because I know that both of you are so devoted from my experience with you both.
Yeah, as I said, I do it because I am one of them. That's
Yes,
how I always.
you're one.
Yeah, I feel I am a refugee, so I have to help them. This is my community. It doesn't matter where I am, where I came from. It doesn't matter what's my religion or where they came from. I mean, all of us are the same. If it's Africa or Middle East, that's
Yes.
how I treat my refugees family.
Yes.
The work we do. Sorry, what was?
I
the
was
second?
wondering, are there certain things that have really touched you when you've sort of seen a family get this or that?
But this
or
is the question that always I have is like, well, give me a successful story. Those people is not gonna get a successful story within a year or two. They need the time.
yes,
Well,
They need more
that's
time.
a good point.
Yes,
Yeah, Liz.
many people, but I do think there are examples. I mean, I had people come into my office in the middle of one of the most difficult times in Aleppo, and it was, one parent and 2 kids.
Yeah.
And the other parent was left behind. And we sat and we talked, and I was looking at their options, and we were able to come up with a strategy. And within 3 or 4 months, I was able to get the mother in the country.
Wow.
And it was that it's a rare victory, but there are those victories out there, and I think that's what carries you through. Because I just remember the look on the they were teenagers, and they were.
Yes.
I just remember the look on their face when I first said, "Oh, we have this option," and they didn't believe me, of course. And
Yeah.
then but the parent I had known for a number of years because they'd been here before. They had left and gone back to Syria, and then so he said, "Well, let's try it." And then we were able to get the mother in within a matter of months. And I remember the kids coming in after that, and I remember the look on their faces. And finally, they began. They said, "Okay, now we can trust you." And then we move
Yes.
forward with other things. So it's those rare victories, and there are those things that. Like you said, it's not. We're not helping everybody, but in at that level. But there are those few victories, and I think that helps move the rest of us to keep working for everybody else.
Of
Yes.
course. So it's like just seeing those people, our family reunited or happy. That's just gonna reward me. You can call it selfish, but it's really you're gonna feel good when you do good.
I
It's
think you're
motivation.
both
Yeah.
making
It's
a
motivation.
point. That's so true. In individual after individual that we've talked to on this show through the 14 years, people always make the point that when they help other people and to see that they can have an impact to do good in this world, it really means so much to them personally too. And there's nothing wrong with feeling, I don't think it's selfish, I think it's more like a recognition of connection between all kinds of people. When we help them, we're helping ourselves. And I've heard many people say we're all immigrants and all refugees if we really look at it. And so
True.
I was thinking that too. What I want to ask you, because many people who may be watching this show may feel really discouraged by a lot of the policies of the current administration. And you've also mentioned how the system itself is back in the 90s and broken. What are some of the problems that have come up, particularly because of the way this administration deals with the issues you're involved with? Has it cut resources? What kind of
cut
things?
resources, cut money. My co-worker just reduced her hours. So the resettlement program now just stopped, and that's what's hiring many
The
people.
resettlement program is based on the number of refugees we bring in every year, and that number was dramatically cut to, what's it, 49,000
Yes.
this year?
50,000.
50, yeah,
But
so
nothing
that,
yet for
that's-
Massachusetts. So
But that's how those agencies are funded, based on those numbers, not on the people here who are helping. So somebody who may come in another way and apply for asylum like you do, those agencies don't get money to help.
no, the asylum seeker. So let me explain it in a different way. There is
Yes.
asylum seeker, and there is asylum granted, and there is a refugees, and there is an immigrant. So
Okay.
it's like a 4 categories. I don't know, and not all of them they're gonna get help. Only the refugees they're gonna get help, and
Yes.
in fact the help was never enough. The money they receive when they get into the country around 1,100 or 1,025, which is never enough. You cannot rent apartment for 3 months with 1,000, and this money through the State Department.
Yeah, so I think the problem is a lot of people might object to the people getting any money. So we want to be careful about how we're.
We're talking about resettlement.
Resettlement,
hard.
very, very small
Yes.
money, very, very small numbers, and
Yeah.
and they're cutting the budget. But I think the good thing about the Americans, I think people are trying the best they can to backfill that. I think that needs to be remedied. That's a government and a congressional
Yes.
issue. But I think more, for me, what I see is more a dramatic effect is how much this administration has been able to frighten people.
Yes, using
And
fear,
the
manipulatively.
fear and the fear that this administration has brought on, and the amount of energy people have had to put into over the last year, dispelling a lot of these myths. Yes, things are harder. Yes, there are things that they have done that really impact in a negative way people, and you look at the fact that they've now unprioritized who they're willing to
Yes.
who their targets are for deportation. I think that's one of the most dramatic things that this administration has done, and unfortunately very effectively.
Yeah.
They can sweep and just deport whoever they want. Under the
It's
Obama
happening,
administration
yeah.
and past administrations, they've really focused on people who have committed felonies, who've been
Yes.
convicted of felonies.
You hear a lot of stories now about that.
And you just see in the news now they go after anybody. And I think that those, the fear and the actual, this press for deportation for a good soundbite on the media has been, something that are the most
hear you.
dramatic effects, unfortunately.
One thing I want to do, because we need to know those realities, that's what people who are watching need to know what we're dealing with. I want to end in the last minute or two we have on you being able to talk very briefly about how you actually can collaborate. Finding each other and working together is the sunny side of the street, and maybe also how people could contact you if they'd like to help.
Sure, I'm ready to share my email, my contact info. We do have many fundraising for the families here to do the reunited for them and to bring their daughters and son here. So we do have many things, and I will definitely share with you my website and
We'll put
information.
that on the screen for people, and a little bit about how you guys collaborate. A little bit. It's been developing, and it's
So
wonderful.
I am dealing with a lot of legal stuff now.
Yes.
Nowadays. I'm doing a domestic violence cases.
Yes.
So I'm going back to her with every case I have.
We met
Wonderful.
we met for the Watertown group that
Yes.
Rand mentioned earlier.
Yes.
So we were
And-
connected there, and we've been discussing different individual cases that. So she's great because she can identify things in the field
Yes.
that I would never. and probably any other attorney out there, no matter how much we want to get out and help, we would never see. So she's able to identify something. And it almost gets queued up, brought to me. I can look
Yes.
at something and then say, we can do something for you, or here are the definitive options for you. So there's, these agencies are overloaded, but there's a lot of good, for example, clinical student programs in this town.
That's great.
But
There's these
it's
groups
really hard
and-
to find any of them, to be
Well,
honest.
I'm
They are
sorry to have to
they
stop
are
at this point.
overwhelmed.
Yes.
They're overwhelmed, and I'm really grateful that she's giving me enough time to give her some cases and referrals. And sometimes it's just she's answering me pro bono and volunteeringly, just giving me
Yes.
an answer for some legal stuff, which is I don't know what should I do without you. Thank you so much.
Well, I want to thank you both so much for talking a lot about the wonderful work you do. Your collaboration's beautiful too. And I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope you'll tune in again soon for another On the Sunny Side of the Street. What a wonderful bunch of people here we got. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.